Then then they replaced him, and everyone gave him a standing ovation.
Okay, I don't even remember.
I forget who it was, but Art Howell did it, which I thought was a good thing.
Yes.
I hope it's something like that. I hope he goes out the way Jeter went out, even if it's a single, something along those lines, because it would be nice to go out with his problems with his health and his back and everything else.
I think that's
It'd be nice.
Well, the Mets kind of indicated.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Art Howell.
How? Not Howell. Why do you keep saying Howell?
Because
we don't have to talk about this on the air.
I'm influenced by the Thurston.
Yes,
Thurston
but
Howell
the Mets, the indication at the press conference, which they had the other day, was, first of all, nobody knows what's going to happen because David Wright couldn't even commit to starting the game, but I'm fairly certain that is going to be the case. But I think it will be, or they'll try to make it a situation like what happened with Derek Jeter, where he got a hit and then he came out of the game, and that was it for him. And he didn't want to play in Boston for the last series because he wanted his last game to be Yankee Stadium.
Right.
I think what probably will happen, if David Wright gets a hit in his first at bat, I'm not sure he's going to come out of the game.
No,
because
I
think
that.
He'd like to play a few innings and maybe 5 or 6 or 7. I don't know that he necessarily wants to play the whole game, but I know he wants to get one last hit.
Yes.
And you hope for his sake that he gets it in maybe his third at bat, but it's going to be an emotional day for Mets fans because David Wright represented so much promise, and he has been, he was a guy who the Mets and the Mets fans thought was going to be their first homegrown Hall of Famer. Well, besides Tom Seaver, I guess, but career Met
Seaver
Hall of
got
Famer.
traded away.
Yeah, career Met Hall of Famer, and obviously the litany of injuries that he's had, and especially with like we said, the spinal stenosis, it's prevented him from being on the field, and the last 3, almost 4 years have basically been a waste. I mean, he all he's been doing is trying to rehab and trying to get healthy and to get back on the field. And like I said a couple of minutes ago, I think that the insurance company and the Mets and David Wright finally all got together and arrived at a number. And it wouldn't surprise me if David Wright isn't getting maybe all of the money that was guaranteed him in his contract.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But at the same time, he can stop with this. I hate to call it a charade because I'm sure he's working hard and trying to get back. But the reality of the situation is that his health is not going to let him play, and that's what they said at the press conference was that Wright, they never used retirement as a word. They said that he wasn't going to play for health reasons.
Right.
And the health reasons, to say it like that sounds to me like there's an insurance reason there. Because if they say the wrong words, then the insurance isn't going to pay off. But I can't imagine that a representative from the insurance company wasn't involved in this whole process. So I don't understand why they have to go through these histrionics as far as,
I'm
the
sure.
Verbiage.
Yeah, and it's going to be also good. Met fans going to get a chance to cheer not just David Wright, but Jose Reyes is going to be playing next to him.
Well, somebody asked him, what would it be like if you could have Jose Reyes playing shortstop in that game? And Wright just kind of chuckled. He said, well, he goes that would be nice. And so don't be surprised if the Mets and Mickey Callaway, just play this one for the fans and for the sentimentality of it all. And
sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Reyes doesn't start at shortstop. I don't think. Obviously the Mets still would like to win and make David Wright's last game a win, but I really don't think the score is going to be the big influencer as far as what happens in this game. It's all going to be to try to give David Wright a good send-off and to make his last game as pleasant an experience as possible. Now, that being said, what if David Wright has to dive at third base?
Yeah, well, he can't.
We don't know. He's healthier, but I don't know that the doctors necessarily cleared him for anything more than a few innings. I think what the medical staff is saying is, look, we don't want to clear this guy and let him play like an everyday player. But also David Wright said the amount of work involved just to try to play 2 games in a row.
It takes 2.5 hours to do.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. We should say it was Todd Zeal in 2010.
Todd Zeal, there you go.
Whose last hit was a home run.
Really didn't even know that.
I was at the game.
Good for Todd Zeal.
I was with Steve. By the way, I have a story concerning this weekend game on the 29th.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yes.
I'm sure the tickets were going for $5 on StubHub or whatever you get.
I was going to buy some when the press conference
tickets
was going on. I should have.
Well, my friend Mitch from Fab Four Free From, Mitch Axelrod, huge David Wright fan. His son is like, David Wright's his guy. The way many people have Jeter as their guy. Not same generation. He's a little bit younger, but
right.
He saw him when he's a kid, and now he's 15 or 16.
Got it.
So he goes online, Mitch, and he buys tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all the way down the foul pole, but they're low.
Right.
So he can see from behind and see.
Got it.
See.
Take a lot of pictures in number 5. A little zoom lens and everything.
So he buys them. He's all excited. I got tickets. He tells his son. The next day, they pull the tickets, so he couldn't buy them.
What?
And he found out it was the Mets who pulled the tickets because the Mets put the tickets on StubHub, reportedly.
Wow.
Now I don't know. The story continues because he was so angry.
I don't blame
him.
He
called the Mets directly and said, "Hey, I bought these tickets on secondhand through a site you guys approve of, and now
obviously if the Mets are the ones who put the tickets out, then they approve of it."
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. We'll find out next.
The Mets should have pulled all those tickets before they made the announcement.
Right.
But
yeah.
As usual, they're the Mets.
Yeah, they screwed up. By the way, speaking of the Mets, also Jay Horowitz.
We love Jay.
You worked with Jay many times
when
you did Met games as a sports writer
at
the Bergen Record. Jay Horowitz.
One area I will say where the Mets exceed the Yankees in terms of media relations.
Yep. Jay is
so
the type
better.
of guy that if you say you need something, he will get it for you, for the most part.
Yes.
He was that good.
And his staff is also that good.
And also, the team would say, okay, you need it, it's yours, Jay. Because, sometimes maybe they wouldn't, but most of the time they would. Almost all the time they would. Anyway, he's sort of, I don't know if he's being pushed out or is he being is it retired?
Jay, he's an older guy.
But you know what? This is like his life. I know the West Coast trips must be killing.
I understand that, but he's an older guy. I don't know how old he is. Look up how old Jay Horowitz is. But he's an older guy, and everything comes to an end, brother. I know you hate to acknowledge that and admit that, but everything comes to an end. And maybe Jay doesn't want to work the 12 to 14-hour days anymore. I mean, baseball is a grind. It's a difficult business, and especially in the New York market with a New York team, you're on call, I don't want to say 24 hours a day, but probably a good 16, 18 hours a day.
Right.
Writers need stuff, players need stuff, everybody needs stuff, and Jay's the guy they go to. And then when the playoffs come, Major League Baseball says, "Hey Jay, we need you to help out." And that's when the Mets aren't involved. Never mind when they are involved.
Right. Well, a lot of people showed up for the press conference.
Everybody showed up.
You had Franco, you had Darryl Strawberry.
Doc was
Keith,
there.
Doc, they was
Keith. I'm sure Darling was there. All the TV guys that are around. They all love Jay. Everybody loves Jay. Jay's a good guy. He can be tough when he needs to, but he's a very self-deprecating guy, which people love. People love to bust Jay's chops.
He also had his how many guys have their own bobblehead night? So.
That's Jay Horowitz.
Yeah.
How many? Let's put it to you this way. Let me put it to this way. How many people even know who the Yankees media relation guy is?
I don't know.
I know who he is because I was in that business. His name is Jason Zillow.
Okay.
And the one very positive thing I'll say about Jason Zillow is he is the main guy who created Hope Week for the Yankees, which I think is one of the best things the Yankees do.
Okay.
But Jay Horowitz has been doing this job for, I don't even know, 30-something years.
Right. And more than 30. He started in 1980. By the way,
39.
39 years.
Yeah, 39
one
years.
One thing I am kind of happy about this, though, is that the Mets are going to have someone in charge of alumni.
That's what Jay is doing.
This is a team that has not, especially since moving to Citi Field, focused on its alumni the way maybe it could a little bit more.
Exactly.
There is a pretty damn good history with the Mets.
Exactly.
Not every year, but there's enough players that have come through that people care about.
But they're coming up on 50 years for 1969,
right?
Which they're going to make a big deal.
They better.
Well, that's the main plan. That's why Jay is doing this.
It's the last time these guys are probably going to get together.
And now he's going to be in a position where he can work 8 hours a day and work on the alumni stuff and take care of that. And he doesn't have to work from 9 in the morning until 1 in the morning.
Right.
So, and he can. That's what taking it easy is for baseball people. Is when you only have to work an 8-hour day instead of a 14-hour day.
Right. By the way, we got 2 minutes left, brother.
Yes, brother.
Yankees are now the number 3 team in baseball. What's going on?
Well, they lost to Toronto yesterday. They are a game and a half ahead of the Oakland Athletics for the home field in the wild card. The Boston Red Sox haven't clinched yet, but that's coming soon, and it actually could happen at Yankee Stadium this week, which would be a disaster.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
yes.
Big games.
Big games. Let's root for the Yankees.
I would like to see I would like to see that happen.
What?
The Yankees. I'd like to see the Yankees beat up on the Red Sox.
Yeah, so would I.
It
would be
one
good.
thing about Mets and Yankee fans, they all hate the Red Sox.
So, and Aaron Judge has been activated, but has yet to play, and is just starting to take batting practice. The chip fracture in his wrist taking far longer to heal than the Yankees had assumed when they said it would be 4 weeks. It's been probably about 8 by now.
I wonder how much they knew, or is it just like a bad?
I thought it was strange when they put an optimistic spin on the recovery time, because that's never a smart thing to do, especially with a broken bone. How can you tell? You can't.
No, I agree.
So you don't know how much residual pain there's going to be. You don't necessarily know how quickly a bone will heal.
Right.
So I'm disgusted by it.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees had a pretty good run, and then a couple of injuries got in the way.
There's still, if Judge can get back, he's still got a couple weeks. But if he can get back and get his swing back in the groove quickly, believe me, the Yankees are. Let's not write off the Yankees as far as still being a World Series contender.
Why not? I like writing off the Yankees.
Yeah, I know you do.
Anyway, I just got to remind everyone, Herbally Yours, brother.
Yes.
Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m., hosted by the natural nurse, Ellen Kamai. This show focuses on current issues in natural health, such as natural foods, herbs, essential oils, and mind-body techniques. That's Herbally Yours, Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC.
Be sure to give that a listen tomorrow while I'm watching the Champions League with Tottenham and Inter Milan.
That's right. Coming up next at 10 o'clock, they call him Big Ed. They don't call him Little Ed. They don't call him Stupid Ed. They call him Big Ed.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Listen to him. Listen to him. Big Ed's playing the music that doesn't get played anymore. The huge hits, songs we all know by heart that don't get played on the radio anymore. And then he also plays other stuff too, because if you just play stuff that's not being played, you got to mix it in. You got to make it. You got to make what I call, to me, the mainstream bigger.
I'm calling this rambling.
This is the mainstream being bigger. Anyway, we're taking off here. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next Monday at 9 o'clock, talking more sports on WHPC from the Press Box, part of the WHPC sports family. Big Ed's next. Take care and bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.